If you're a senior man waking up tired, disconnected, or wondering where your drive has gone, let me tell you you're not alone. Maybe you've noticed your erections aren't as strong, your energy's faded, or intimacy feels more distant, not because you've lost the desire, but because your body just isn't responding like it used to. Now, before you chalk it up to aging, listen closely. What if the issue wasn't your age, but what your body's quietly missing? I'm Dr. Max Cole. For over 30 years as a board-certified urologist, I've sat across from men just like you, men full of life wisdom and heart. They weren't looking for a magic pill. They were looking for truth, for answers rooted in science and real-world results. See, when we talk about sexual health in the elderly, too many voices skip the part about what actually sustains erections. What powers testosterone, or how semen retention power? Yes, that ancient yet proven principle can contribute to more than just performance, but a deeper sense of control and confidence. In this community, we speak openly about things others whisper: masturbation habits, urinary incontinence, erectile dysfunction, or the silent drop in testosterone that leaves many senior men feeling invisible. You deserve clarity. You deserve dignity. And most of all, you deserve health tips that actually work for men your age. Whether it's exercise for seniors over 60, natural testosterone support, or the kind of sexual education no one ever taught us, this is your space. Because you're not done growing, you're not done feeling alive, and you sure as hell are not done being a man. So if this message speaks to you, I invite you to subscribe to Life Over 50 Plus, where every video is crafted with senior wisdom in mind. Hit the like button, turn on notifications, and let this channel be your trusted companion on the journey ahead. Now let's talk about what your body might be missing and how just 3 simple vitamins could change everything. 1. Vitamin D, the circulation spark plug. One of the most common misunderstandings I see in senior men is this belief that feeling tired, weak, or less manly in the bedroom is simply what happens when you age. I can't count how many times I've heard, "Doc, I guess this is just part of getting older." But let me tell you something gently but firmly that's not entirely true. Let me introduce you to Samuel, a 71-year-old former railroad engineer, a proud grandfather, and a man who once walked 3 miles every morning without missing a beat. Over time, he began feeling slower, colder, and duller, as he described it. His erections weren't what they used to be. His confidence began slipping, and he found himself pulling away from intimacy not because he didn't care, but because his body just wasn't responding anymore. Here's the truth: what Samuel was experiencing wasn't just aging. It was a severe deficiency in vitamin D. Something so simple yet so powerful was silently sabotaging his circulation and vitality. You see, vitamin D does much more than keep your bones strong. In men's health, it plays a critical role in producing nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for helping blood vessels relax and open. Without enough nitric oxide, your circulation suffers. And when blood doesn't flow properly, everything slows down: your erections, your stamina, even your ability to concentrate. This isn't just about sexual health. It's about your whole identity, how alive you feel in your body. A deficiency in vitamin D can silently affect semen retention, power testosterone levels, and even increase your risk of erectile dysfunction and urinary incontinence. It can also amplify fatigue, sap motivation, and leave you wondering where your energy went. But here's the good news: the solution is simple, and it's completely within your reach. Every morning, just 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight on your skin can help replenish your vitamin D levels naturally. And if that's not always possible, especially during winter months, or for those with limited mobility, you can turn to a high-quality D3 supplement. Not D2, which is cheaper and less effective, but vitamin D3, your body's preferred form. Samuel followed a routine I often recommend for exercise for seniors over 60, a slow, steady walk in the morning sun, followed by a breakfast that includes his vitamin D supplement. Within weeks, he reported not just firmer erections, but sharper thinking, better mood, and a revived connection with his wife that he thought was lost forever. That's not magic. That's biology working the way it's meant to. So what do you think? Could something as simple as the sunshine vitamin be your missing spark? Let me know in the comments below. I read every one of them, and I always love hearing your thoughts. But remember, circulation is just the first piece of the puzzle. Your blood needs more than open vessels. It needs fuel to move, to energize, and to awaken the man you still are. Let's talk about the second vitamin. It's the one your body relies on to turn food into fire, and chances are you're not getting enough of it. 2. Vitamin B12, the energy generator. Now let's talk about the second piece of this vitality puzzle, one that powers your entire system like gasoline powers an engine. Without it, no matter how well your blood flows, your body will struggle to stay awake, focused, and ready for intimacy. That powerhouse nutrient is vitamin B12. One morning I had a visit from Peter, a 74-year-old retired Navy technician. He walked in, sat down, slowly looked me straight in the eye and said, "Doc, I think something's broken. I eat well, I sleep okay, but I'm just dragging. It's like I'm present, but not really there. My body's moving, but my energy and drive, they're gone." Peter's story isn't rare. In fact, it's heartbreakingly common among elderly men. As we age, our bodies gradually lose the ability to absorb vitamin B12 efficiently, even from rich dietary sources, like red meat, fish, and eggs. It's not always about poor nutrition. Sometimes it's about a digestive system that simply isn't absorbing what it once did. The result: fatigue, mental fog, emotional detachment, low stamina. And yes, difficulty with erections, semen retention power, and a noticeable drop in testosterone. Many men feel like they've lost their edge, when in reality they're simply running on an empty. Vitamin B12 is crucial for producing red blood cells. These cells carry oxygen to your brain, muscles, and sexual organs. Without them, even the best circulation won't do much. It's like having great roads but no cars to travel on them. When Peter began a daily supplement of methylcobalamin, the active, highly absorbable form of B12, I watched a transformation unfold. Within 3 weeks, his energy surged. He became more alert. He told me he finally felt like he could enjoy time with his wife again, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. He laughed again. His voice grew stronger. And for the first time in months, he started planning a road trip with his grandkids. This isn't about miracles, it's about restoring what time and age quietly steal. So if you've been struggling to stay awake in the afternoon, if your motivation is running low, and if you feel like your body isn't keeping up with your spirit, it might not be you. It might be your B12. What's your experience been like with energy and focus lately? Let's talk about it in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Now we've covered circulation and energy, but there's one more key element, the one that protects your blood vessels, reduces inflammation, and directly supports testosterone production. Let's move on to the third vitamin. It's time to talk about something most men overlook and why doing so is costing them dearly. 3. Vitamin E, the hormonal protector. I want to introduce you to Greg. He's 70, a retired air traffic controller who spent decades under high pressure staying sharp and focused. When he first walked into my office, he looked well on the outside: trim, clean diet, regular walks. But behind his calm demeanor, he confessed, "Doc, something's slipping. I'm not as present with my wife. My mood's off. And to be honest, I don't feel like a man anymore." This is where most conversations go silent, but they shouldn't. Because what Greg was experiencing wasn't weakness. It wasn't failure. It was a hormonal and vascular decline that quietly affects so many senior men. You see, while vitamin E is often dismissed as a skin supplement or a fertility aid for men over 60, it's much more. It's your body's shield protecting your blood vessels from oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. Without it, circulation suffers. Erections become inconsistent. Testosterone begins to dwindle. Your emotional resilience takes a hit. Most men don't realize this. Erections are a complex symphony of blood flow, nerve sensitivity, and hormonal balance. Without protection from free radicals, those tiny molecular attackers that increase with age, your system weakens. And vitamin E is one of your best defenses. But here's the scientific beauty of it. Vitamin E also plays a direct role in testosterone synthesis. It safeguards your Leydig cells, the tiny hormone factories in your testes, from oxidative damage. The result: a natural boost in testosterone, better mood stability, more emotional engagement, and yes, more physical readiness when you want it most. When Greg added natural sources of vitamin E like almonds, sunflower seeds, and spinach, along with a high-quality mixed tocopherol supplement, the shift was visible. He told me he laughed more. His wife noticed the way he looked at her had changed. His posture, his presence, his energy, it all started to come back. He didn't feel younger, he felt whole again. This isn't a quick fix, it's a quiet rebuilding of what makes a man feel like himself. And that's why vitamin E matters more than you think. So what are your go-to sources of vitamin E? Do you pay attention to antioxidants in your daily meals? Share your thoughts with me down in the comments. I've always learned something from you. But here's where things get even more interesting. What happens when you don't just use these vitamins individually, but combine them intentionally in rhythm with your body's needs? Or let's move into one of the most powerful concepts I teach my patients. I call it the vitality triangle, and it changes everything. 4. Why these 3 vitamins work better together. The vitality triangle. Let me tell you about Martin. He's 69, a retired engineer, methodical and thoughtful about his health. When he came to me, he'd already been taking vitamin D for a few years after reading about its role in immune health. Then he added vitamin B12, hoping to shake off the fatigue that clung to him every afternoon. Each helped a little, but something still felt incomplete. We had a long conversation about synergy, not just taking vitamins, but understanding how they work together. That's when I introduced him to what I call the vitality triangle. Here's the truth most men don't hear. Your body isn't a collection of isolated parts, it's a system. And when you support 3 core systems together, circulation, energy production, and hormonal balances, you don't just feel better. You come back to life. Let's break it down. Vitamin D increases nitric oxide levels, allowing blood vessels to expand and support better blood flow, crucial for sexual health, brain clarity, and confidence. Vitamin B12 energizes that flow, ensuring oxygen-rich red blood cells can reach your muscles, your brain, and yes, your reproductive organs, especially vital for semen retention, power, and stamina. Vitamin E protects the entire system, shielding blood vessels from oxidative damage and supporting testosterone levels, your hormonal engine for vitality. When Martin committed to this trio not as scattered supplements, but as a daily routine, his life started to change. He walked more confidently. His wife noticed he was more emotionally present. He even returned to his old woodworking hobby, something he hadn't felt up to in years. What's happening here is called biochemical resonance, where each element amplifies the others. Alone they work, but together they unlock something much deeper. It's like tuning a guitar, each string matters, but when they're all in sync, the harmony resonates. This vitality triangle isn't just theory, it's a practical, emotional, and biochemical strategy for men's health, especially in your 60s and beyond, when every small gain matters and every day of feeling strong counts. Now, you might be wondering, if this is so powerful, why don't all men over 60 feel the benefits? Well, that brings us to a mistake I see far too often. A mistake that quietly steals results even from the most disciplined men. And if you're not aware of it, it might be holding you back too. Let's talk about that next, because fixing it could change everything. The mistake that sabotages everything. Let me introduce you to Charles. He's 74, a retired postal worker, a man with deep discipline and a heart full of intention. When he walked into my office, he had a bag of vitamins with him, at least 10 bottles, maybe more. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I've been taking these every day, but I feel like I'm stuck in first gear." And I knew exactly what was going on. See, the biggest mistake I see in senior men, especially those trying to take charge of their health, is this: believing all vitamins are created equal. But the truth, they're not even close. Charles, like so many others, had been taking synthetic versions. His vitamin D, it was D2 cheaper and less effective than the D3 form your body actually uses. His B12 cyanocobalamin, a version that many elderly bodies can't properly convert. His vitamin E, a single alpha tocopherol type, missing the broader spectrum of tocopherols and tocotrienols needed for full benefit. These details matter, because your body at 60 or 70 doesn't process things the way it did at 30. You need active forms, bioavailable nutrients, especially when you're supporting things like testosterone, blood flow, or energy. That's real men's health, not marketing. The second mistake: inconsistency. Taking your vitamins when I remember just won't cut it. Healing, especially at this stage of life, needs rhythm. Your body thrives on routine, a daily pulse of support. Once Charles switched to the right forms and built them into his day, a B12 under the tongue each morning, D3 with a protein-rich breakfast, a dose of mixed tocopherols with lunch, his transformation was visible. His voice grew stronger. His step became lighter, and for the first time in years, he said, "I feel like my body is listening to me again." It wasn't magic. It was intention and consistent action built on the right foundation. Now, if you're sitting there wondering how to make this part of your life without it feeling like another chore, don't worry. You don't need a dozen pills or complicated charts. What you need is a simple, reliable rhythm. And that's exactly what I'll share with you next, a daily routine any senior man can follow to support energy, erections, and emotional vitality without stress, without noise. Let's build that plan together. 6. Your daily vitality routine. Let me tell you about Dennis, a 66-year-old former landscaper from Oregon. He came to see me not because he was sick, but because he felt off. His words stuck with me, "Doc, I'm not broken. I'm just not me anymore." He didn't need another prescription. He needed structure, a steady rhythm to bring him back into alignment with himself. So we designed something simple, realistic, and deeply effective. A routine rooted in real senior wisdom, not trends. Morning, reignite the engine. Dennis starts his day with a full glass of water to rehydrate after sleep. Then with a protein-rich breakfast, usually eggs or Greek yogurt, he takes a high-quality methylcobalamin B12 supplement. Why in the morning? Because that's when your body needs its spark. Without it, energy fizzles before the day even begins. Mid-morning, fuel the flow. If the sun's out, Dennis steps outside for 15-20 minutes of gentle walking, just enough to soak up vitamin D through the skin. If it's winter or cloudy, which in Oregon is often, he takes a vitamin D3 soft gel instead. No drama, just a consistent input to restore circulation and fight erectile dysfunction at its roots. Lunch, protect and power up. Lunch is light but strategic. A spinach salad with olive oil, a handful of almonds, maybe some salmon if he's in the mood. These are his natural sources of vitamin E, the fertility defender, the inflammation shield, the testosterone ally. He doesn't stress over macros or meal plans. He eats like a man who respects his future. Evening wind down, not power down. Before bed, Dennis does 5 minutes of breathing, what he jokingly calls senior meditation. No apps, just peace. This helps him relax and recenter, which, as strange as it may sound, supports semen retention power by calming the nervous system and improving testosterone balance overnight. You see, health after 60 isn't just about what you take. It's about how you live intentionally, consistently, and with respect for the vessel you have been given. That's what real sexual education looks like at this age: awareness, rhythm, and responsibility. The results: Dennis now walks farther, sleeps deeper, feels present with his wife in ways he hadn't in years, not just physically, but emotionally too. So if you've been asking, where do I begin? This is it. Not with a dozen pills, not with a complicated diet, but with a simple daily rhythm that honors your energy, your hormones, your men's health. But there's one last thing, one message I want to leave you with, man to man. It's something I've said in thousands of rooms to thousands of men just like you. So if you've come this far, please stay for the final words, because they just might change the way you see the road ahead. Final advice from Dr. Max Cole. If you're still here, thank you. It means more than you might realize. Because choosing to stay, to listen, to care about your own well-being, that's not a small act. That's a declaration, a quiet, powerful statement that you're not done growing, that you still believe in your strength, your dignity, and your future. You see, after over 30 years in urology and men's health, I've sat across from thousands of men who built families, served their communities, endured loss, celebrated triumphs, and still found themselves wondering, where did the fire go? And every time I've looked into those eyes, I've seen one truth. It's not too late, not for connection, not for energy, not for sexual health, not for being the man you still are beneath the fatigue, the doubt, the silence. This isn't about chasing youth, it's about restoring wholeness. The 3 vitamins we've explored today, vitamin D, B12, and E, they're not magic bullets. They're messengers. Nutrients your body has been quietly begging for. Signals that, when received, allow the systems of your body to work with you again instead of against you. And the rhythm we've discussed, that daily vitality routine. That's not just a checklist, it's a recommitment, a reminder each morning that you matter, that your health still deserves care, that men's health is more than a headline. It's a path, a promise, and a birthright. So I'll leave you with this. No matter your age, no matter what you've lost or gained, no matter what the mirror says or the world assumes, you are not finished. There is still time to feel awake again. There is still time to be present with your partner, your family, and yourself. There is still time to walk taller, think clearer, and yes, love deeper. If this message touched you, inspired you, or made you feel seen, please subscribe to Life Over 50 Plus. Your presence in this community matters. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, or tell me what part resonated with you most. Every word you write adds to this space of senior wisdom and connection. And remember, your best chapters may not be behind you. They may be the ones you're just now beginning to write. Until next time, I'm Dr. Max Cole. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Stay strong, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.